Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Lift Eat podcast, brought to you by Hunt Lift Eat Official on Instagram. Carter and Kerri back in the sticks once again.
Oh,
We've had a
yeah,
little hiatus, Kerri.
we did, man. We took like a week off.
That's what happens when you gotta. The bank is full of episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we got a bunch lined up, man. So we're gonna be video chatting a lot with some cool people. This one's gonna be awesome. And I
Yeah,
promise this time I'm not gonna talk about mushroom coffee or other nootropics for about half an hour like I did last time.
yeah, dude. We're excited to have a repeat offender. This doesn't happen very often on the HLE podcast, but Justin Synan, host of the Running and Gunning podcast. You may remember him from episode 207 with us a couple of weeks ago. He's back again, back for more. What's going on, Justin?
Not much, brother. Pleasure to be joining y'all again. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, dude. We're excited.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm sporting my Hunt Lift Eat t-shirt tonight.
It's a good looking t-shirt, man.
Gotta represent, yeah, man.
Dig. I'm still waiting on my size for the run and gun t-shirt, but I am rocking the 40th anniversary Lone Wolf custom gear ball cap.
My apologies that I've been broke lately, and we sold literally all of our XLs and larges like in a couple of days, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely had some hiccups on the sizing. I got a lot more mediums and smalls than I anticipated. So my apologies, Kerri. You will definitely be getting a t-shirt as soon as I get some. So
That's good, man. We got to know, dude. Like us mobile whitetail hunters, man. Like we're not small people. You know, we're large and XL people.
You are, absolutely. And surprisingly, I have a lot of 2X guys out there. So I didn't know. I apparently had to tell a few people. I guess so. I mean, well, if I'm being honest, dude, the shirts I got are so tight. They're similar to the Hunt Lift Eat shirts. They're really comfortable, but they're like that sport fit. So for some of our heavier guys, like they're kind of like, oh, I don't really like this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The apparel game's a slippery slope, Justin. Be careful.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I see where you guys are at. You know, I see all the, yeah. Well, hey, man, what if I could actually make some money on them? That would be cool. I pretty much break even every time. It's kind of tough, but it's great promotion. And I love to see how many people are willing to support me. So thank you to anybody out there listening that bought a Running and Gunning shirt. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude. All right, man. I got to nerd out with you a little bit and talk to you podcast host to podcast host on the last episode. Much appreciated. It was good.
Absolutely.
Good to get some
Carter.
Back and forth and ask some questions. Not everybody always understands, man, but we wanted to have you back on so we can nerd out a little bit on running and gunning in the practical sense from the hunting view, man. We thought you might be the guy for that.
I know a couple things. You know, I don't like to act like I know it all, but I've been around the block a few times, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Before we jump into it, you know, it's been a month or so. You've had a pretty good spring in the turkey woods, right?
I did, man. It was very challenging. Yeah, it's very challenging, but very rewarding. I set out this season to just kind of break out of my normal, and it's been like super, super easy to kill turkeys here in the recent years, like out of a blind and with a bow. And a lot of my buddies didn't understand why I wanted to ditch the bow. They're like, oh, you know, you're hardcore bow hunter, blah, blah, blah. Well, if I'm being honest, it just felt too easy. Like it was a given thing that was going to happen. If I went out there in a blind and put decoys out in the fields, like I was going to kill a turkey. So instead of doing that, I really set out to be a lot more mobile this year and run and gun the whole season and try not to use decoys. So I just wanted to do that. And dude, it was so rewarding. I'm not going to put on a front and act like I didn't throw the decoys out every once in a while, but if I'm being honest, they did more harm than good every time that I did attempt that. So I was like, all right, you know, this is time to get back to the roots. But primarily a lot of the places I have are fields, so it's a little harder for me to hunt birds in the woods. So I had to do some shifting around and like just think about turkey hunting a little bit different and really where I was trying to set up and do stuff. And Yeah, I got my ass handed to me most of the time. So it was super rewarding, especially my second bird here in Kentucky, man. I don't think I've ever been that fired up to kill a bird. It was just awesome hunt. I grinded, I think I did 12 miles that day with a buddy of mine in a little bit farther eastern in like around Somerset. And about a 2-hour drive, not a big deal, but to go out there and man, it was terrible. Like we had maybe 1 or 2 birds gobbled in the morning. And then I was like, all right, dude, well, instead of like hunting the afternoon, I was like, I feel like we've covered all the ground. I was like, I'm going to head home and I'm going to hit my farm that I'm going to pass by on the way home anyway. Went there. There's a time out in the field and I knew where he was roosting. I'm like, I got your ass. So I was able to park the truck out of vision of him, slipped into this like holler, and I got right back to the roost tree, dude. And he is just going nuts. Like he's just gobbling his ass off.
In the middle of the day.
In the evening at like 6 o'clock. He's just pow, pow, pow. So him gobbling as much as he did, it fired up another bird. And I'm like 50 yards from this roost tree where I want to set up at. And this other bird's coming straight at me, like, and he's gobbling on his own. And I'm like, I haven't touched a call, and they're both just battling each other, literally. So I was like, dude, I mean, it got so close. I was like, I got to sit down like now, or I'm gonna screw this up. I sat down. He came in gobbling, but he like just slipped by. I just couldn't shoot him where he came through, and he went out to the field with the other bird, and then one came in silent. It was just, dude, it was just like a culmination of like all the struggles I had that year. And then I picked up a lot of stuff along the way, and I just barely called to him, just turned my head away from him and just, and he came right in and I shot him like 20. It was strutting coming in, and I was like, oh, it was just freaking awesome. I was like, got your ass. Like, not today. Yeah. I was mad at him, dude. I was super mad at him this year. And then I went to Indiana and I got another bird up there with my good buddy, Tim Smoke.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 6.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry, Kerri. I was really trying to take you this year, dude, but I didn't want to bring you out here and like you go through what I had been going through a majority of the season. Like, I feel like I got lucky, but it was a lot of time spent in the woods, and it was just heartache after heartache. Like other guys killing turkeys that were trespassing, and just birds not wanting to respond. I swear they were just running for my calls this year. It was so weird. But nobody cares about turkey hunting now. Like it's only a few, like you're looking at like 0.5% of that hunting community that cares about turkeys.
I hate turkeys so much now.
It's funny though, like when it works out, when turkey hunting works out, it's a pretty sweet high, man. It is. Awesome.
It's a little bit more short-lived, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I can go deer hunting and like not see a deer, or like just, whatever. If I'm after a buck and just see does and fawns, like whatever, and still have a good day. If I go turkey hunting and like, especially if you hear them gobble and it doesn't pan out, you're like, this is so stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I hate this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel really lucky. I feel like this year, a lot of it really clicked for me. I feel like I can call myself a turkey hunter now.
Yeah.
And it just takes time, man. And you got to hunt where there's a lot of birds at too. I mean, it's really tough on certain chunks of public. And I just think this year in general was a really difficult year. Like they just weren't gobbling much. Yeah. The weather
was not on our side this year.
No.
Because you had a wet spring, right?
Yeah, super.
Real wet.
I think that's really messed them up right before season opened, man. We had torrential rain, like 13 inches of rain in a few days. And
most of Kentucky was underwater.
Right. Yeah. And I guarantee you it's going to hurt the numbers. I don't know. In a long story short, Kentucky needs to address their, the turkey population, because if they don't do something about it soon, we're not going to have turkeys to hunt. I mean, I know plenty of my friends, every one of them complained about this year. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, this year was just like any other. So I don't know.
I wish I could have taken you last year, buddy. We would have had a blast, because I just couldn't keep them off of me. I mean, I was a part of, I think, 8 different turkeys that we killed. It was just freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
And that was just in Kentucky. I didn't even venture out of state. So
That's good to hear. If my grandfather was still alive, he'd love that. He's from Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern's actually doing well, but I think they're doing something with the ag out here. Once you crest into ag country, the turkey numbers are down. So I don't know if it's something they're spraying or what seed they're using, that maybe these turkeys are eating it, and I don't know. I mean, it's just a hunch. I'm not a biologist, so
yeah, we're not doctors.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Glad you had some success. I went turkey hunting 0 times.
Oh no.
Kerri's had a heck of a season too, man. So at least you got a couple, man. That's good.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I feel bad for you guys, but yeah. All right, so let's move on. Nobody wants to hear about turkeys. All of our podcasts I've ever done on turkeys do terrible, and the videos on YouTube. So I mean,
turkeys are stupid, right? Let's do deer, right?
Let's do it.
Bring on the white.
I wrote down a lot of questions, and I don't like to host in an interview style where I just ask you question after question after question. But I'm afraid I might do that because I want to dive deep, and Kerri and I want to hear about your knowledge. And I know you have some of your gear there. We can do a little gear breakdown, but let's kick it off, man. What does run and gun hunting mean to you? What does that mean?
Honestly, just being mobile in whatever fashion you might be. And I think now it's such like a weird term to me. Like when I started hunting, I was always mobile, and I never knew anything different, right? Like it's just a way of hunting to me. It doesn't matter if you're using a stand or you're hunting on the ground with a ghillie suit. Like, how are you pursuing the deer? It's really just, in my opinion, being able to change what you're doing in a timely manner and be effective, right? It's not hunting a permanent set, even though in some cases, like, you could go hang a new set and that could be considered being mobile, but like, it's really about not hunting the same location over and over again, is in a nutshell.
Like going where the deer are, not sitting in one place and the deer come to you.
It's really for you to show your woodsmanship, if you want to call it that. Like, you're going in the woods, you're scouting, and you're setting your stand accordingly.
You said you've been mobile, since you started hunting, you gravitated towards that style. How has your style of run and gun hunting evolved, kind of throughout your hunting career?
It's evolved a lot. I started off in Maryland with climbers, and that's what my dad did. I did a lot of like stump sitting, and I would go scout, and I go like sit here, and if I didn't like it, I was just antsy, man. I'm an ADD kind of individual. Like I can't just sit in one place, man. I just get too antsy. Like, I will, don't get me wrong, but I just always feel like it's a way more enjoyable hunt than sitting in the same place and looking at the same scenery, right? I like the fact of being able to know that I'm in the chips with a deer. It's just a lot more enjoyable to me. But as far as what's changed, I mean, my woodsmanship's changed tremendously. I feel really lucky when I was younger that my dad kind of blessed me with a little bit more of that, like just to take a step back and look at what's going on. Like, okay, well, here they are eating all these oaks because all these leaves are disturbed in this area. It's like, okay, so there's fresh sign. Where's the bedding? And here's where they're eating. Where can I intersect? And, in the beginning, I never concerned myself with the wind direction. I just hunted, and I had so much success, man. Like, I was just good at getting on good deer. I don't, maybe it was God's will, whatever. But it was just funny to me, like, how many good deer I got on when I never even concerned myself with the wind at all. Mm-hmm. And then when I really dove into that, let's call it in my 20s, that's when it really took off. Like, I started seeing a lot more mature deer on a regular basis, but I was still being mobile with a climber. Now, what hindered me was I couldn't hunt specific trees, right? I would find a spot and I would say, okay, now I got to find a straight tree. And like, let's admit it, a lot of times where we want to set up is in like a thick area or, somewhere like that. Now, some guys have tons of straight timber, don't get me wrong. And a climber is the best way for them to be mobile, right? That's really the coolest thing I think about like the mobile hunting community is it all just varies on what kind of woods you're hunting, right? Some guys like to be in Pennsylvania and be 25 to 30 feet high. And that's just what they've always done. And they kill big deer, so there's more than one way to skin a cat. But when I got into hunting, more with a hang one stand and sticks, like my dad never did that. I started, trying to do some permanent sets. So I was getting good at hanging tree stands. Well, then I got into wanting a mobile setup, and I ended up getting like an old lone wolf and, the long sticks. And it was just, man, it was just a lot, dude. I'm trying to take 4 sticks with me up a tree. I think any of you guys know in your beginning, phases of entering into this stuff, it's like, you can see all these gadgets, you see all these guys online doing it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, here's what I need to do. And then you do it and you're like, holy crap, this is a nightmare. Like, I'm making noise. I'm forgetting this. I did three up and downs just to hang my tree stand. Like, how is this a good thing? Right.
Yeah.
So then it just graduated from there. I was lucky. I had a friend that saddle hunted before the whole saddle hunting craze really took off. And I remember him showing me this, and I'm like, dude, like, I just couldn't understand. I couldn't get my head around it. And he finally, he was like, look, here's a seminar. I found these guys. They're on the Saddle Hunter page. There was like 5 of us, dude, in this public park that we all met up, and they did a demo on everything. And I was like, wow, like, setting a platform is so much easier than me setting a stand. Like, and for some guys, like, it's not an issue, and I totally get it. But for me, it was like, all right, now I can take 3 sticks with me, which in my opinion is like the ultimate, like, because you can hang one on the ground, you can take 2 up with you, but really it's a lot more efficient way to do this. You're not clinking gear and stuff like that. You're like, all right, I got 1, 2, 3, bam. And then I'm setting my stand or my sticks or my platform. So I got into that, and then I started applying it, and I'm like, man, I'm able to get in way smaller trees than I ever could with the climber. I'm way safer. I also almost felt I did fall out of my climber. Thank God I was wearing a harness, but that was an eye opener for me. I'm like, okay, so that shit can happen. And, my number one priority is to get home to my family. Mm-hmm. So for me, the saddle was a lot safer. I was always tied in. I was always connected. And it was way easier to set up. Like, I could put that platform on the back of my saddle, climb up and set it, and I'm done, Now, with the Lone Wolf custom gear stands and stuff that we got now, everything is so much lighter than what it was back in the day. And like, I had the big Lone Wolf, I guess the Alpha, or I believe that's what it was. I'm sorry. But, it was a lot. And it was like, for me to haul all this stuff up and get it all set up and be quiet and, not create too much motion. To me, the saddle was the ultimate, because you got your lineman's rope, you're doing your thing. I can make 1 trip up and be done. I don't need to do anything. And that's really the efficiency of mobile hunting. And like, you can do that with any stand, but it comes down to your time and preparation and, the mods and all the other stuff you got to do to make your stuff quiet and get familiar with your gear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a big draw for me, we talked about it on your podcast. Like, I didn't have a choice, man. I was a public land guy. I didn't know what I was doing, and pine trees and sand. So I had to be mobile. But one of the biggest draws to actually go towards something smaller and lighter like you did was like just the weight, carrying the standard climbers that you're going to find at like a Cabela's or even Walmart or whatever. They're so heavy. Yeah. Not only are they loud, they're super heavy. And then I started out, I actually saddle hunted. I had a platform and a saddle, but my sticks were those same Lone Wolf original, super tall ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to get through the woods with my platform, my saddle, and these giant, I don't know, 4 foot, probably 3 feet maybe sticks.
Yeah. They might've been 4 foot back in the day, or 3.5. I don't know. I think they're 36, maybe 42 inches.
Whatever it is, they were way too long to be busting brush with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother thing with like the climbers. It's just the mass of your setup. Like, if you're going through thick brush, man, and there's nothing louder than that tubed aluminum pinging on trees.
That's what I was going to say. I got into mobile setups this year for the first time, just based on we sold our farm and couldn't hunt there anymore. So went public this year and bought a climber. And yeah, dude, it just, I have wide shoulders already, and it just adds another 6 inches on either side of me, and I'm just like banging and clanging.
Oh yeah, you go to like tuck under a tree and it gets hung up on it. You're like
getting hung up and like pulled back, and I was like, "This is so dumb. I hate this." And then
you still kill. I mean, I killed a ton of deer with my Summit. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, I bet you I scared a lot of deer too.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I killed my first 2 bucks on public with a bow this year, and it was awesome. But like, it's not always the most conducive setup, especially to bow hunting too. In a climber with the bar in front of you, and it just adds some I don't know, some pieces to the puzzle for sure.
Yeah, extra obstacles.
Yep. Yeah. Some more goofy shit you got to pull off while a deer's in front of you.
That's right. Yeah. So, Justin, what would you say is some like essential gear, and feel free to be as specific as you want, for like a lightweight mobile setup?
Well, I mean, there's so many options now. And there's so many there is really great gear out there. We have so many options to pick what you want to do with like this or that. But obviously, I've run all Lone Wolf custom gear stuff. I'm very blessed to be partnered with them. And I truly do believe that they make some of the best, mobile hunting gear out there as far as the durability, the being quiet. I've gone through a gamut of a lot of different gear in my life, and there's nothing like having the confidence in a system, right? And I don't think that there's really I can say this with confidence, I don't think there's any other companies that have this system like Lone Wolf does, as far as packing your gear and keeping it quiet. And they've gone and taken a lot of extra steps. Now, you still need to silence your gear. But I mean, as far as, I guess, what I like, I've gone from one extreme of packing everything you could possibly imagine with you and a climber to as little as possible now. I have a really little backpack that I bring with me, and I primarily bring a backpack because I'm filming, right? I need to have my camera arm, and I need my camera and some extra batteries. I don't mess with the mic too much, but I've kind of gravitated towards the hybrid style. That's my go-to. What I like is a versatile system. I like to either sit in a stand if that's what I need to do that day, or I like to hunt behind the tree. And I would say 70 to 80% of the time I hunt with the tree directly in front of me. For me, self-filming, it's so much easier. It lets me get away with more. Wow. And I basically I'm more of a sitter. So like when I'm saddle hunting, I put my knees into the tree and I'll loosen my tether. And then I have a little armband that I put underneath my armpits. And it's just like sitting in a recliner, man. I just sit just like this and I wait. And then when I see a deer coming, like I stand up, I loosen that, and I can grab my bow. My bow's always right here in front of my face. So it's very minimal movement for me to go from here to there, grab my bow, get it off. And then I generally aim for that, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock is where I want to shoot a deer at. But having the saddle and having, now what I've been running is the Lone Wolf Ranger, and that's like our hybrid setup that we have now. It gives you so much more foot room at the base of the tree. And the platform is also a little bit larger than most of them out there. And the reason I like that so much is because if I do have an off angle shot, I don't even need to be connected to the tree. I can just stand up on that thing and not worry about it and maneuver the way I need to. But I've killed a lot of deer by, watching their body language. If they're looking away, I'll swing. When I say swing, it's very minimal, but like I'll step back and maybe shoot that 1 o'clock, time frame. If I've got a deer at 1, or instead of reaching around the tree, I'll just spin around and pop them like that. It's worked for me like really well. I know some people hate it. Other guys are super comfortable, and I've killed a lot of deer sitting down in a tree stand too. So having that Ranger, it allows me to be able to set it as a little tree stand if I need that, or my primary style of hunting. And, as I've gone through the years with this stuff, I used to bring a platform, then I had to put a knee pad on there, bring a knee pad with me because that's how I hunted. And then this and that, like now I've got all that and it's there. And I set my platform and I'm good to go. Right. I've also got a bow hanger on my ambush on my Ranger. So if I'm sitting in the tree stand portion of it, I can kick out the bow holder and I can have it right there tucked next to me. So in my opinion, I think it's the most versatile system out there. And then I've got a couple different sticks that I'll change up according to what kind of woods I'm hunting. If I'm going to hunt crooked timber, I like our single sticks. They have a little bit more adjustability, and I'll show you them here in a second. But I really like the double steps. That if I'm hunting straight trees, I love the doubles. I mean, what are you guys? What are you generally running now? Carter, are you hunting with a hang-on or what?
So on the main property I hunt, I set 2 or 3 hang-on sets for the first time this year, and that's been great to explore other pieces of the property that I haven't hunted before. It's been just traditional ladder stands before that, and recently I've been doing the climber. But I would love to hear Kerri talk about kind of his saddle setup because that's something I've never done.
He's not a saddle guy.
I'm not a saddle guy. I don't wear a diaper in a tree. No, man. But before I get in that, dude, like that Ranger. So I've gotten to see it at the show, and I saw it at your house. I've never used it, but it looks like it solves a lot of my complaints about saddle hunting, right? Because like when I talk to people and I show them my setup, and then because they want to compare what's the difference between a lightweight hang-on versus like a saddle setup, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling man, like, dude, most of these saddle guys, like, they're tinkerers, right? Most of them want to tinker around and play with their gear, and they get to that tree and they 16 pieces of equipment together just to get in a damn tree. And I've got 3. I'm like, that's the difference to me. Like, I'm there to hunt. A lot of saddle hunters are there to tinker and play. But it sounds like your thing actually answers a lot of, or solves a lot of that. Like the guy who wants to try saddle hunting but isn't a tinkerer, doesn't want to put together 16 pieces of equipment at the base of a tree just to get in the damn thing. But for me, man, I did the saddle one year. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I've got really, really jacked up, basically my entire spine and my hips are bad. And so there was no way I could be comfortable in that tree. In fact, I did it for half a season and then I had to just give it up and I hunted off the ground for the entire rest of the season. But I am hunting now. Well, at least this past season. I don't know what I'm going to be hunting with next year, but this is my 1.0 Lone Wolf Custom Gear 1.0. That's my favorite tree stand by far. I've got their 0.5 as well. It's actually there.
Right on.
Hanging up there. That one's a good one too, man. It's a little bit smaller, so kind of like how you were talking about, like the Ranger having a bigger platform, being more comfortable.
Yeah,
you can actually shoot better angles and stuff. So I found that the same as the 0.5 is that smaller stand was great getting into some really tight spots. It is lighter weight and all that, but I lost not only the comfort that I gained with the 1.0, but I also gained like a better shooting platform with a slightly bigger one. So my stand's what, 10 pounds, right?
Yeah. Your 1.0 is like right around 9 something.
Yeah.
And
so
the 0.5 is about like 6.
Stand. Yeah. So I've got a 10-pound stand. I normally go with 2 sticks. I will bring a 3rd stick. And so what I like to do is go with the single compacts. And these are older styles. They've got newer ones out there that are even better than the ones I have. But I've got the older style compacts that I have on each side that hooked up with J hooks because it's a system, right?
Yep.
Everything is locked into this thing. I carry a small fanny pack on the back with like a little bit of medical gear. Because I'm a big believer in shoot, move, communicate, medicate, or being able to make holes, plug holes, right? Call for help kind of thing.
Amen. Yeah.
So I've got my little med kit. I've got my little survival kit in there, and I always carry water, right? I know a lot of guys, they don't, and I think it's kind of foolish, right?
It depends on what you're doing. I don't take water with me some days if I'm just going to go hunt a farm and I'm going to go do like a 500-yard walk there and back. But if you're going deep on public, what's that?
I get pretty thirsty on a 500-yard walk.
Would you? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like super. I noticed I took it with me a lot, and I wouldn't drink out of it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, if you don't use it, then it goes. That's my opinion. Now, if I'm hunting longer or it's a hot day, then I'll definitely take it. But I noticed in the winter, I don't really drink as much.
Yeah, so I dehydrate fast, so I always have water with me. But yeah, I carry a small fanny pack. If it's cold, I'll walk in pretty light, and I'll actually have. I got the little cargo strap things that actually come off of. It's actually compression straps off of like a Kafaru pack that are actually routed through the base of that seat, man. So I'll actually roll up like my extra layers and strap it under there. And dude, like I have not found a better system. And I've hunted the eastern woodlands, like the pine forest with the sand. I've hunted out here at hardwood forest. I've taken it to other places. I didn't use it in Virginia. I didn't use it in Iowa because I hunted presets, but I've had them up there. I don't know what I'm going to do in Texas, man.
You're going to be hunting a lot lower, man. I would say like you're going to be I would keep your compacts and you'll probably just use 2 sticks.
If that, man. I know I looked on, so I'm moving in the San Antonio area, so you can hunt Camp Bullis, which is somewhere outside of San Antonio. And looking at their rules, man, like tree stands are prohibited. You can either bring a tripod or a blind. You cannot have a tree stand. So I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go down there. We're going to give it a whirl.
Well, technically, if you put the pin in the 1.0, it's a seat, right? So, I mean,
yeah.
Hey. And then are they going to know if you throw it in a tree? I mean, hey, you could climb up. I mean, hey, 5 feet. I've hunted a lot where I've just like used 1 stick, man. Like if I'm in the right scenario, it all comes down to hunting the cover, and you just got to find where that's at.
And that's what I've been trying to do. So, I don't know if we talked about in the last one, but like I've been going to the mobile hunting road shows for a while because I'm a newer hunter, and trying to learn, right? And so got in with the mobile hunting crew it's actually Lone Wolf Custom Gear, and they do the mobile hunting road show. And that's where I met Justin, man. But like, I always thought like my first year, 2 years hunting, man, like, yep, you got to get high, got to get get out of the wind, and all that. But since going there, talking to Cody, he's like, I will go wherever there's cover. If there's cover 1 foot off the ground, guess where I'm sitting? Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
And there's nothing like smoking a big deer like 5 feet off the ground, man. It's freaking, it's intense. It's just basically like a gotcha moment, You're like, all right, today's your day.
I've gone like 1.5 sticks right up. And I've killed a deer there, but
most of mine are like 2 or 3. I mean, very rarely 3. It's usually like I always laugh at that. It's like I'm 2.5. Like I don't know where we get the half stick from, but
you just don't space it out like I normally would,
Yeah, no, exactly, right. Like you didn't have to have that stick there, but since you're up there, you may as well put it.
I brought it all the way with me. It's going up.
Right.
But yeah, man. And that's actually helped out a lot with, you talked about the woodsmanship, getting smarter, like actually being able to find different cover and find what makes a good tree and where it's at. And, being able to hunt where you need to hunt and not hunting for the perfect tree.
Right.
And it's made it lighter too. So that's one of the, again, we talked about one of my requirements is ditching that heavy ass shit so I can get into the woods and stay there.
And to kind of circle back, Kerri, on what you had said earlier with a lot of like the saddle guys being gear nuts, I've actually been complimented by a lot of other guys that hate saddle hunters that loved my saddle setup. And I got it.
Right here. But can you walk us through it?
So like this is the Cruiser XC, and I'm not affiliated with Cruiser, but I'm a big believer in supporting good people. And I think Chad at Cruiser is just an awesome guy. And it's a very comfortable saddle. I've hunted out of 4 different saddles in my life, and this thing is by far one of the most comfortable out there, in my opinion. So this is actually a bear spray pouch I got from Vortex. So I, fasten this to the side, and this is where my lineman's rope goes. And then Chad kind of hooked me up with this. This is actually like a zip pouch that I put on the side, and it's got all my stuff in here. Like it's got,
looks like it's got a lot of space.
it's got a tether. I've got my pruners in here. I've got my little tree saws in here. And shout out to this is called the Pocket Boy from I believe who was this company? Was Silky. Yeah. So if you guys are in the market for
these
Alaska. Things are sharper than anything else on the market. They're stainless, really small. You can see it's like the size of my hand, pretty much. Quiet, and man, you talk about really a lot of times when we're hunting, you know, when you're being mobile, you need to cut limbs or you need to do this or that. So I always go in the woods. This is totally worth it. A set of pruners makes things a lot quieter. And then you got this for the step above when I really need to cut that one limb out of the way or whatever. And I also use it for brush if I'm in a tree that I can't really get much cover, I'll cut down. We have a ton of cedars around here in Kentucky, and I'll just take them, and conveniently our stands have holes in them. So you just stuff a limb in the hole in there and you're good to go, man. You can blend in on a lot lower situations. And that's really all you need, man. Just being out of their eyesight there. But yeah, so that's pretty much as minimal as I get. I have a little strap too. This is my bow holder. It folds up and fits in there, but I like to be super organized. I'm such a nerd about being organized, but you know, when you do this and you get out, you get your system down, don't mess with it. Like, leave it alone. Like, this year, I'm not concerned about any gear at all. Like, I've got everything I need and nothing I don't, and I'm very happy. And I'll adjust stuff as I go down, but this is another big thing here. So this is a little lineman's loop that I have, or not a lineman's loop. This is basically just like a piece of paracord. I'll stick my sticks in here as I'm climbing up. They go in there really easy, and it's just the way I do it. I put my sticks on my left side, and that's pretty much it, man. Other than that, it's a saddle like any other saddle out there. But and then
I feel like some guys get sucked into the game of like just adding stuff for the sake of adding stuff, or like it's the new thing and like blah blah blah, and like I hate tinkering with gear and all that stuff, so it's kept me at arm's length from venturing down this hole. And you're a great example of like, hey dude, figure out your system and then like rock that. Don't get crazy.
So I'm a self-proclaimed gear queer, man. I don't know what everybody else calls it, but in the Army we always called it the gear queer, right? I love cool gear.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to find something cool, man. But when it comes to, you know, gray light or, you know, 4 a.m, you're trying to sneak in on a tree, you know, get into your spot and you kind of get into a tree, like, you can't go out there with new shit you haven't played with. And that's not the time to, you know, tinker around. Like, you want to go out there with a system that's tried and true and ready to roll, you know?
Yeah. And I'm a big advocate for not really, it's one of the last things I like to do, hanging a set in the dark in a new area. Like, it's one thing if I know an area and I'm like, I know what tree I want to be at, then I'll go do it. But I'm really weird about that, man, because, you know, being mobile, we don't know what tree limbs are in the way. We don't, you know, there's so many unknowns. And the last thing I want is to hang my stand. And if I do go in the morning anymore and I need to be mobile, I go in at gray light and I'll pick my tree accordingly with that gray light. And that has been a game changer, man. And honestly, it's helped a few of my friends kill some giant deer, just because you're that much more quiet. You basically get to where you want to be at and just get about 100 yards out and then wait for that gray light to come up and then make your move, hang your stand. You're way quicker, way quieter, and you're more intentional on where you're actually located at. And you can get away with murder. I mean, I think it's the deer aren't as, the deer kind of move on at that gray light situation. Right. And you know, it's a risk reward thing. You can always blow deer in the morning and like, don't let that ruin your hunt. I mean, I've killed tons of big deer right after having deer blow at me, you know, so don't get so discouraged that you just ruined your whole hunt and walk out of the woods if you bump a deer. Just go do your thing. It may have blown a buck out of there. You might not have. So there's always, I just look at them as like rotations, right? Like, okay, there were some does in here. I kicked them out. Well, rotation wise, there's there's going to be something coming in here this morning that, isn't, within eye distance of this. So
that's a great tip, because like anybody who's set up a mobile stand, mobile setup, especially in an area you're unfamiliar with, that can be one of the most frustrating things in the world. And I've set up in the wrong tree before, just because I was like, man, I got to find a tree. Like there's this perceived pressure in your mind, like, oh, I need to be up in a tree before gray.
Yeah. You're sweating, you're getting blown at. Yeah, it's freaking awesome, right? You're like, why the hell is this mobile hunting shit sucks? Yeah. I'm not out here to fool anybody, all right? Mobile hunting sucks sometimes, all right? It is a pain in the ass. You grind all damn season long and you're in late November and you're still doing hanging hunts in the morning. Yeah. Like you're questioning your sanity. Yeah. But how bad do you really want it? Like it's the truth, man. I killed my buck this year, November 30th. Was not my biggest deer, but you know what? Like, man, I grinded for it, and I was just mad at them, like the turkeys. Just you put one of you in front of me, I dare you. Like, just
that's not your day. Key right there. Get mad at them. You want to kill animals? Mad at them.
That's right. That's right. And let them get under your skin. That's
All right, turkeys coming for you next year.
One thing you mentioned earlier, Justin, about the water, right? You're like, if I don't use it, it's out, right? Out of the setup. One thing I wrote down here is like, what gear do you never leave behind? The pocket boy and the pruning shears are two awesome answers to that. Is there anything else that you always take with you?
See, and that's the other thing that I enjoy about having the saddle set up, is because all of my gear has a location, right? I'm sure, Kerri, you being special forces, you can agree, like, you need to know where all your stuff is at all times. Like, I can access anything I need in the dark. Like, I don't need a light. Anymore now, man, I take my camera gear, but that's pretty much the only essentials I really bring with me. I'm not big on bringing rattling antlers. I'll bring a grunt call. Between what my saddle has, and I have a nice bino harness from Vortex, I can keep any of my extra stuff in here. Always bring a release with you. It's kind of important, so you got this nice little pocket up here to put your release in. I've got a little med kit, but what's that?
Do you ever carry 2 releases or 1?
I used to carry 2, but I don't anymore. And the reason be is because it's always got a place. It's always got a place. Yeah. It's always right there.
What are you shooting?
Carter. I've been shooting a Carter just because for the past, I don't know, man, maybe 6 years. And I have 2 of them. I have 2 of the exact same releases. I'm a huge advocate for find something that you like and buy 2 of them and forget about it. Like, you don't need to get a new release every year. You don't need a new bow every year. You don't need a new stand every year.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm like buying.
I'm just saying, I think there's just so many more guys that are so concerned about looking cool than killing deer. All right. Yeah. Like, I know I'm going to ruffle feathers with that, but like, it's the freaking truth. Just like you had said, like, all these saddle guys are worried about what they got in the newest saddle. Oh, how quickly can I get to 20 feet? Oh, I can one stick. Oh, this. It's like, okay, how much weight are you hauling in the woods, and how much movement are you doing while you're setting that up, man? Like, there's nothing better than having the sticks, in my opinion. You're slow and fast, right? And
I know dudes that are great. Speaking of one stick, and I know dudes that are absolute killers who one stick, but I'm just like, dude, you're out there to swing around on a rope and play in the woods, man. Like, you're not there to kill deer. They still kill more deer than I do, but
no, I know guys that do too, and they love it. Yeah. I mean, I would say maybe if I was out in an area where I had to be 20 feet or higher, then I would do it. But I just don't need to, man. Like, I don't hunt any higher than 14, 15 feet, like, so what's the point? Yeah. I mean, I'm at the point this year, I think I'm just going to finally take 2 sticks and that's it, Now,
I mean, 2 sticks and 8ers, I can get right around that 12, 13 feet easy.
Yeah. What were you saying, Carter?
If we had some listeners who were thinking about going this route that you're going, I feel like the things that would be important to me would be like weight, comfort, and speed of setup. Because Could you talk about maybe those 3 things with your setup a little bit, and anything else that you would add to the list that you think should be considered before going down this route?
Yeah, I mean, well, like it really all boils down to how much are you going to spend on your setup, right? Is cost an issue?
It's a slippery slope. It gets expensive quick sometimes.
It can, but it's also an investment.
Yeah.
You know, you got to look at what are you buying and are you going to buy other stuff? Like, because realistically, like, you know, Kerri's got stands right there. He doesn't need any other stands. He's going to have that the rest of his life. So what's better, to buy a cheap stand that lacks in certain areas, or is it better for you to buy a really good stand that's lightweight and efficient and you're going to get your most bang for your buck out of it, right? Like what's going to make you want to make your job as simple as possible when you're doing this kind of stuff. So in my opinion, I always gravitated towards the double sticks because there's no fiddle factor. I'll kind of give you a little visual. I've got my. Now, I love these sticks, right? And don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to bash them by any means, but you have extra steps that you need to do to set these things. So here is this is our new compact double. Okay. So here's a cable aider. Can you guys hear me good?
Yep.
A little. Okay. So here's a cable aider. All right. So I'm going to get to the tree. I have to unfold this, unfold that, push this down, put this here. Put that there. Do that. All right. Now these are really cool because they're versatile. You can go a single step or you can go a double step, whatever you're really looking to do. And I love that. I'm a big advocate for having both feet planted while you're doing this. It's not fun when you run into a situation where your tree is giving you a fit and you're having a hard time hanging your stand. Now, here's the other side to this. If I had a double stick, I could have just separated it and put it on the tree. All right. So that's where it comes down to what are you looking to do? Are you looking for speed? Now, another thing is the cam straps. This does not have a cam buckle. This is just a buckleless strap. So I have to tie it. If I wanted to, save some time, I could use a cam strap and then I just put it on, put the loop on, tighten it down and go. But I'm a firm advocate for having any steps that you got. If you're going to have a mobile setup and that's what you're primarily going to do, the cable aiders are great because this is turning a 17-inch stick into a 37-inch stick just with this. And it folds out of the way real easy. It bundles up. It still packs really well. And it gives you that extra foot room that you need. So you can take three steps with you that are 3 foot instead of taking 4 sticks with no aiders, right?
So that cable acts as another step?
It does. Yeah. So when you pop this out, you're just basically see how it's kicked out just a little bit. So you put your foot into here, put your toe to the tree, and then you just step up. So this is really nice though. The cable is, in my opinion, is the best style to go for, no matter who makes it. But the cable is really helpful because I can put my boot in here and I can feel it right now. With a webbing style aider, you're not going to be able to do that. Like you might feel it, but I'm telling you right now, like they just kick out way more than a cable style aider does. And I see a lot of guys using the multiple step webbing aiders, and I just don't I cringe at them, man. Like it's so much easier for that thing to just swing out from you than the cable aiders. So that's why I support them. And I believe they're rated for so much more weight than, anything else out there. So you don't have to worry about them like coming apart or anything like that. So it's peace of mind. It's quiet. They pack really well. I don't have my double steps in here. I wish I did, but they stack right on top of each other. Really slim profile. He's got them right there. Awesome. And with your cable aiders at the end of the day, I'll just bend them all up and I use a Titan strap and it just connects all of my sticks and all of my cable aiders together. And then when I get to the tree, I just pop all my sticks off of my stand, put one up, and then I put the other 2 on my side and I go. And in my opinion, there's nothing quicker. It's like I can set up a stand in about like 7 minutes. And that's it. That's if I'm, just taking my time with it. I've never really done like a racer. I try to be methodical when I'm hanging a stand. It's like I don't want to move too much or unnecessary stuff. So,
and what were the name of those sticks again?
These the sticks that I'm showing you, these are our new these are compact doubles. So they have these rubber grommets. Any of our stands, they have these little rubber grommets right here, and they connect right up to the stand. You see, we've got like the one hole here.
Yep.
And one down here, so you can just pop them in nice and easy. And then they're quiet too. So, yep.
Like that one, Carter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the Ranger I was talking about. And then you can see you got the seat that flips down. So you still have a seat shelf. So when I can put my pack on here real easy. But then I got my thicker pad here. That's for my knees. And then if I want to sit, I can just sit like that.
The size of that platform it's pretty comparable to the 0.5, and it's not maybe a little bit shorter.
It's just shorter, yeah, but it's got the same width. But the difference is you've got all this foot room at the base of the tree. Yeah. So none of our other, I mean, just the size of the V bracket on there is enormous, dude. You can put this in a huge tree or a small tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably help, like, so it doesn't kick out if you when you talked about going after that like 1 o'clock shot.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
I know a lot of platforms will kick out on you.
That thing bites so hard, like you can't kick it off the tree. It's incredible how well that thing bites. When you cam that in, like it's not going anywhere. Even I've hunted with just one tooth on the top bracket, and it's still rock solid. So that's really why I gravitated towards it, man. I feel really lucky. I'm one of the few saddle guys that's on the crew. But even a lot of guys that have always hunted out of stands are now hunting with this, and Cody included. So it's really cool to hear that from him. Yeah, Cody, he hunted most of the year out of this Ranger also. So I know he always is doing stuff like that with all of our stands, just cutting them to pieces and seeing what he can get away with and, trying to bring something out to the market. So when we did this, they beefed up the I-beam really heavy. So there's no cables, Before hybrid hunting, really when it got started, everybody was using the 0.5, but the downside was you had the cables and you couldn't really cam in your stand quite as solid as you wanted to, right? So that's why they did that. And then it also allows you to straddle the tree and let weight off your legs too when you're on like a long sit, which I've done a few times.
And as someone who admittedly hates heights and has a fear of falling from heights, you feel super solid. You too?
Yeah.
You feel super solid with this setup. It's great to hear.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel like out of, this year hunting in like your hang ones, right? Do you feel like a little on edge when you're sitting in there and you don't have anything next to you?
Yep.
See, and that's kind of the cool thing. Like, I wish, where are you located at, Carter? I know, I feel like I know, but
North Georgia.
Why don't you go to the Mobile Hunter Roadshow in Georgia this year, man, and get your hands on it'll help you so much. Now they're calling it the Whitetail Roadshow. So my apologies on that. I'll send you some details after the podcast, but dude, definitely just go to that and it'll benefit you so much. You'll be able to just the hands-on aspect of things to ask guys questions there and, be able to visually see what they're doing and how they're doing it. And, that it's worth its weight in gold, man. Like I promise you'll walk away with some new friends and a lot of knowledge, and like, it'll really help fill those missing pieces of the puzzle that you have.
Heck yeah. That'd be awesome.
Good place to meet podcast guest too, Carter.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll meet tons of them, man. And the Georgia show is loaded, man. There's a ton of the lineup's amazing. So that wasn't meant to be a plug. That's just honest to God from my heart. Like it's good. It's a really good show with a lot of good, seasoned killers. So anything you want to know, man, from tactics to tree stand stuff, like it's the place to be.
No, that's great, man. That's good intel. Big hands-on learner kind of guy.
Yeah, same.
Since you've been involved with, your podcast talking about this almost exclusively, and then especially on these roadshows, it sounds like you're helping teach and explain to maybe guys like me who come up to the booth or whatever. What are some mistakes that you see guys and gals getting into mobile hunting?
Kind of like I touched on earlier, just overcomplicating it, taking too many sticks, taking too much gear in the woods. I think that's, it's something that's kind of handed down through generations, oh, this is what my dad did. So, and like, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, what do you need and what don't you need? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you need to look at. And the only way you're going to find that out is by doing it. Right. And you're like, okay, what would make me more comfortable? Do I need that? And then it comes down to modding your tree stand too. Like, a lot of guys take a screw in bow holder now. I mean, but here's just like an example of it, not to show this off, but this is our sidekick bow holder here. So this is something you can attach to your stand, and then it just kicks out, and then you got your bow holder right there at the base of your tree. So that's like, one of the little mods that you could add to your setup that alleviates you bringing a bow hanger, right?
Yep.
That thing weighs a couple ounces. A bow hanger from a real tree bow hanger might weigh like a pound. And it's big and it's metal. So, there's so much stuff out there that you might need, but you don't need. So it's really up to you to kind of set up your setup, and everybody's is a little bit different. And that's another good factor of like going to these shows. You get to see what everybody's done for modifications to their stands that you can do, and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to steal this from this guy, steal that from that guy. And then you make your system up, and I think one of the biggest misleading things is that you have to hunt 20 feet. Like you just need to hunt where the cover is. You may need to be 20 feet in some scenarios, but not many. If you're kind of going to change the way you look at hunting a little bit, especially, where you're located. I know in Georgia, it's a lot, it's thicker, right? You got a lot of pines yeah. So you got tons of cover. So there's really, I mean, if you're in a pine forest, I can understand wanting to be higher, obviously, but it's just one of those things, like where are you hunting? And that's another good factor about it. It's like being able to talk to guys that are hunting in your areas, for no matter where you're located. I mean,
right.
I think there's only 4 shows this year, but
another reason to go to the show, right?
Yeah. Just check it out online and see if there's one near you and you're free that weekend. Go check it out. There's not a whole lot of shows that are doing that now, and I think that's one really cool aspect of Lone Wolf Custom Gears, what they're trying to do to bring back the education factor in mobile hunting. So I'm blessed to be a little small part of it, man. I really enjoy. I was super nervous to be a guest speaker. Sometimes in front of a couple hundred people. But whatever, you just do it. You're around a bunch of like-minded people. So sorry to get off track.
No, it's awesome, man. I'm a sucker for people who like to educate. So that's awesome.
Yeah. That's what we're here for, man. Same with my podcast. That's, I love this stuff. So I just want to help other people get into it.
Yeah, dude. We always said if 5 people were going to listen to the podcast, we were going to do it. So if we can help a couple people out, all good.
Yeah, hopefully we're helping plenty of people. And anybody listening, if you're on the fence about getting anything, just feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help anybody out there. Yeah, man, for sure. That's a pretty good segue here. We're rolling up on an hour, Justin, but you've mentioned, I guess, if you had any other advice for beginners wanting to go mobile, you mentioned the show, you mentioned don't overcomplicate it. Anything else you'd want to throw out there for folks? Don't worry about brands and their tiffs. There's a lot of this like tit for tat shit that goes on in the mobile hunting community. And it's nobody's business. Like whatever, people have personal beefs. Don't like treat anybody different because they run this stand or that stand. Like, it's supposed to be a brotherhood, right? Like I feel like unless you're a dick, whatever, then I don't care for you. But I mean, realistically, man, like it is a great group of individuals. And I think we share a little bit extra of a bond for the outdoors because, you kind of have to be dedicated to do it. And it brings a lot more of the woodsmanship aspect to hunting than you sitting in a stand over a corn pile. Right.
Yeah.
So you're meeting like-minded individuals. Just have an open mind and, get yourself, I think my biggest piece of advice, get yourself quality gear and don't worry about the price range. Buy little pieces here and there throughout the summer. I've got some younger friends that they don't make a ton of money and they love this stuff. And I'm like, buy 3 sticks, start with that. And then buy your 8ers later on, or buy this stuff. Try to get it in like kits, right? Cause it is expensive. I mean, you're going to drop about $1,000 on your setup. Well, with whatever you want to do, it's going to be around there. So try to budget for that. Look for discounts. There's all kinds of sales all the time. Go into some of these shows, you can get discounts and stuff like that. So, and join a group. Mobile Hunters United is a great place for information. Anybody has any questions, there's other groups out there. But that's just the one that stuck out to me. So
that's the Facebook group, right?
Yeah, it's on Facebook. Yeah. I don't think they got any groups on Instagram, do they? I'm sure they do, but I'm not a part of any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and that's another good plug of going to these shows. I know they've got different expos. They've got you said they changed the name to Whitetail Hunter Roadshow?
Yeah, Cody decided to change it this year. He wanted a different feel and he wanted to make it a little more personal and do a little bit more stuff like team build, like, hanging out at a fire after the show. Like everybody that goes is welcome to stay in camp for the night. And that's another great way to just, plan. You're meeting up with people in your area and surrounding areas, and you can plan other out-of-state trips with guys, just like what you guys are doing with the community, with the Hunt Lift Eat community. It's just, oh, hey, I got a friend that lives in Ohio. Oh, cool. Like, let's trade hunts, man. Like, oh, I want to go hunt Ohio too this year. Like, you might not even live there. It's something you've wanted to do, and now you've got somebody else that is willing to do it. And that's the best thing about mobile hunting is being able to go and branch out into any state and test your wits of what you got as a woodsman.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I wrote down something that you said earlier, Justin, that I like a lot. I think you could have a good t-shirt for this, but kind of what you were just talking about, trying your luck in other states, man. You want to be in the chips with the deer. I like that.
Yeah, always, man. You want to be in the chips. Try to do what you can to look at it as like a deck of cards. And all right, what's the weather doing? What's the wind doing? Is there a good buck in the area? Where's my most recent intel? The more like stuff you can stack in your favor and the more confidence you have going into the woods, it's a lot more enjoyable than just throwing a random sit at nothing, Yeah. And that's really what you guys need to try to aim towards is like, all right, am I in the chips or not? Like, did I see him yesterday? What did he do yesterday? All right, well, I'm going to move and pivot. And now I know I'm in the game. Right. So that's what being mobile in a nutshell is about. Just being able to get in there.
I love it, man. Kerri, you got any closing thoughts for us?
No, man. Awesome podcast. Love talking mobile hunting, whitetail hunting. So appreciate it, Justin.
Yeah, no, absolutely, guys. I hope I feel like I talked a lot, but
that's perfect.
It was always a pleasure sharing there with you guys, man. And I mean, is there any other little tidbits you think like we didn't cover that we should have, Kerri? I mean, what do you think?
I'm sure
we'll do another one.
I'm sure as soon as we stop recording, I'll be like,
I'll think of something. No, I think it went good. I mean, I feel like it was a good groundwork, and for all you guys still listening out there, if you got anything and you have any questions, feel free to holler at me. Check us out. Check out the Run and Gun podcast. Also, if you are looking to get into more mobile hunting content, I hope it's okay to plug on here.
Please.
Yeah. Plug it all, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All our listeners, go check out the Run and Gun podcast, man. And people are welcome to shoot you a message on Instagram, ?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what we're here for. So
perfect.
Hopefully, I don't know. It'd be great to get a couple questions. I mean, that's what we're all about, is just getting more people in the community. And, it's a lot more enjoyable way to hunt. If you're looking, if hunting is getting boring for you, I challenge you to take on mobile hunting. It will make it a lot more fun again, you know, and I think that's a majority of guys that really get into it. It's become too easy for them what they're doing, and they want that next level of satisfaction. So
I'm waiting for hunting to become too easy for me.
yeah. Well, it could in Texas. You know, they got like what they just go out there and have the giant corn feeders and hit the Sandero with the corn feeder and the golf cart and wait for them to come out. Is that what they do or what?
On them high fence, yeah.
Okay.
The ranch I guide at, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get in and play and do little things, but yeah, for the most part, you're sitting in a box blind over a corn feeder.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's awesome, man. And you know, there's tons of people that don't have time to get outdoors and they want to kill a deer, and that's you know, that's awesome. So yeah, man.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, dude. We appreciate you jumping on here and sharing your knowledge, Justin, and hope folks go check out everything you got going on, man. And looking forward to doing another one with you sometime.
Absolutely, man. Been a pleasure, Carter. And
awesome.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. We appreciate it. Listeners, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. We'll talk to you next week.